Good day, friends. Friends of friends, and many people out there I may never ever get the chance to meet. Could I have just a few minutes of your time to tell you a quick story? Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to travel with a group of 9 people to Uganda, Africa. Some of the things I saw and experienced while there have changed me, made me forever more grateful for the opportunities I had while I was growing up, and have given me a heart bent towards lending a hand up to others who I now know are working hard to better their own reality. I grew up on a farm in rural Alberta, Canada, and was raised with the notion that we most often get back results from hard work and determination. I was taught to be a net giver, not a taker, not to wait around for someone else to do what was needed to do, but to start it myself. With little help from others, a lot can be accomplished. Uganda is a hot country with seasonal dry spells, and many of its citizens work small farms and gardens to feed themselves, their families, and others. Hard work is not missing from their lifestyle, as they often struggle to survive. Education, the opportunity to go to school and to learn to read and to write, is a dream for many, and a reality they pursue with enthusiasm. I shook my head in amazement upon seeing so many small young faces in the early morning hours before the sun was even up, walking alone or in small groups of 3 or 4 alongside the road on their way to school. I learned that they would do this 5 or 6 mornings in a row, walk the 1 to 6 kilometers, then spend about 11 hours in school just to walk home, do their chores, get some sleep after what we would consider a meager supper, just so they could do it all again. But their faces and their laughter were a delight to see and hear as they walked. One particular morning, we did leave early, however, as we were on our way to Kingsland School, which is a school that's an even more rural setting and reaches out to kids in the country who have even fewer options for education. We arrived there after many twists and turns, sudden stops, slowing down for ruts and for washes in the road. I've driven many back roads, country roads, and lease roads. And we've got nothing on the roads in Uganda, let me tell you. Now, Kingsland is off the main highway ways, and it's the only option for many kids in the area. It's also able to provide some busing to the little kids that live just too far away to make that trek twice a day. When we arrived shortly after 7, the bus had already made one run and was gone to pick up more students. And in my mind there, I was taken back to the over 10 years I spent riding the school bus to and from school from our farm. I remembered the cold mornings waiting for the bus, and the hot days with all the windows down and the dust coming in, and all the homework I did as I was bouncing along. Then the school bus arrived with a second load of kids, and I could see that the reality I knew was a lot different than that. Isn't that great? Oh, and the seats in that bus can all be lifted out, and the back can be filled with water jugs so that during the school hours in the 4-month dry season, the bus can be used to haul water. Or it can pick up supplies like sacks of beans and ground cornmeal and cane sugar or whatever else needs hauling. I got a chance to drive that bus one afternoon, not with any kids in it, but with just one of the drivers, as he wanted me to see what his job was like. Remember I told you I was raised on a farm? Well, over the years while growing up, I had a chance to drive many a well-used vehicle. I drove fuel trucks, buses converted to haul livestock, old grain trucks, manure spreaders that hadn't had a license plate on them in years. Well, they had nothing on this bus. The power steering was long since shot. The shock absorbers, they squeaked and they clunked, and they didn't do much absorbing. The brakes were there if you pushed the pedal all the way to the bottom and then waited a bit. I was told 4-wheel drive hadn't worked in years, and I wondered about that, thinking about the steep, rutted, twisting red dirt roads that we'd traveled to arrive there, and knowing that the rainy season was soon to be upon us, wondering how they'd handle that mud. I was told that there's days they just can't use the buses, that the kids can't go to school because they don't have 4-wheel drive. It didn't surprise me then, shortly after my arrival back in Canada, to learn that the old school bus had broken down again and that they cobbled it together one more time. But it's not worth the money to fully repair. It is just completely worn out. So here's where you and I come in. Through research and asking around, we've learned that a good used bus, new vehicles are rare and very hard to come by in Uganda. A good used bus then will run about $15,000 to $20,000. Now that's for a diesel-powered, four-wheel drive equipped unit that can be put to work immediately hauling kids to school and hauling them to a better future. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is, but I can't afford the whole thing. So I'm asking for your help. No amount is too small. If you think this is something you could support, donations can be easily made right here on this site, and you're even eligible for a receipt for income tax purposes. Come on then, get on the bus bandwagon with me, and let's get those kids a ride. Thank you.